Intro music.
Come on in.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
And the ball game is over. The series is over. Welcome to Slam Diego.
My name is James.
My name is Joey.
And this is the Brothers Padre.
James. How are you?
I'm all right. Yourself?
Doing good. I've watched some real baseball the past 11 days.
Yay!
12 days or so. Real baseball. World Baseball Classic was real baseball as well, but this is real Padres baseball. And we've got some thoughts about it. We got some thoughts. We're 6-5. We have not done our series recap episodes, and that's on me. I just stupidly decided to do work trips in the middle of last week, so that's on me. But we're going to catch up here with going forward on
I like how you put that. I stupidly decided to do a work trip. No, your boss said, hey, Joey, fly to Idaho and look after something for me. And you had to go, well, you don't understand. I have a podcast.
Listen, sir. Excuse me, sir. How dare you? Yeah, I didn't really fly. So it's good to be back in over 70-degree weather. Landed was 27 up there, but that's neither here nor there. Padres are 6-5. As today they played the first game of the series against the Mets. They lost, but they came off a series against the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, and
We split both the series, the Rockies and the Diamondbacks.
and the Braves.
And then we took 3 out of 4 from the Braves.
And then we started the series with the loss to Mets. So, James, this episode should be titled "Way Too Early," but maybe early, late enough reactions to the season. Like, what are you thinking? What are you feeling like? What do we need to freak out about? Are you worried? Tell me your thoughts, James.
I am not worried about anything really. There are a few concerns.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Nabil Krismat has not looked sharp, but then again, last night we beat the Braves 10-2, and he shut them down, and his stuff looks sharp again. So I don't. It's weird. Tapia
throws real hard.
And if he's pitching, all the opposing teams need to put ankle guards on. He is gonna pop somebody's ankle out because everything seems to be at people's ankles at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I would say my worry, that's I think the legit worry, is I don't know what happens from the inning 6, 7, or 8 in a close game. I think Garcia is fine, but Robert Suarez is probably not going to be
Ready for another
month or so.
Yes.
So it's a big question mark. Nabil Krismat is not hitting 94 anymore in his fastball for some reason, only hitting 89, 90. And so it's a question mark. It just is. I mean, we've had 2 bullpen meltdowns that would have been wins if we didn't have meltdowns.
Yes.
And so that's a big deal. So I think, and then you have to figure something out.
On the plus side, Steven Wilson still looks just as sharp as he did last year. We have to talk about his slutty pitch.
Yep.
And Tim Hill still gets ground balls. And I know people are frustrated with him, like, no, he's a ground ball pitcher.
Right.
His job is to go out, like today, he got a ground ball. Nobody caught it.
Right.
Nobody got it. His job is to get a ground ball. It's our athletic out infield is job to do something with it. So you can't blame Tim Hill for pitching the way God made him.
Right.
And he's still effective the way that is. They need to hit the ball to infielders. Like I said, Garcia is there. Hader looks like Hader again. Krismat, Tapia are real question marks.
I this idea of like Pomeranz and Suarez being back makes me feel a lot better about the whole bullpen. But I just don't know. I just don't know anymore like what that would look like.
I'm going to tell you this again because you just never listen. Pomeranz is a lie. It's a lie. There is no Pomeranz, Joey. He's like Kaiser Sose. He's rumored. You don't know who he is. You know? It just, no. That Pomeranz, until I see him throw a pitch on the mound
In a major league game.
and I'll make a deal with you. If he throws 3 pitches and something on his body does not break, I will accept that he's back. Because at this point, he's going to make it to the big leagues. Again, he's going to throw the ball and one of his fingers falls off.
Yeah. It is pretty wild. That's like my biggest question mark because offensively, I'm not too worried. Offenses typically in baseball take a while to heat up or get normalized. That's pretty standard in the beginning of seasons. People are not all red hot at the start of the season.
Yeah, for instance, Xander Bogaerts, hot. Hassan Kim, hot. Trent Grisham, hot. Nelson Cruz has 5 hits, but they're all for extra base hits.
Yep.
Couple home runs. Carpenter and Cronenworth only have like 3 or 4 hits between 2 of them, but they each have a home run and a double. So they're there. They just need more playing time. And Cronenworth's a streaky hitter. We all know that. Machado's batting .300. Soto is leading the league in walks, which is shocking that he's doing that. And he has just as many hits as he does walks this year, which is standard Soto behavior. Again, I don't have a problem with the way we're doing it. I think David Dahl being hurt is a bit of a bummer because Odor, even though he can still get a hit or 2, there's a big difference between going Odor, Nola, as opposed to Dahl, Nola.
Yeah. Dahl can like hit one out of the park. And you're a legit power threat if you get a pitch you want. Odor and Nola, you're like, 4 years ago you could have gotten a home run.
I am just shocked. When we traded for Nola 3 years ago now, he was the best hitting catcher in the major leagues.
In a very small sample.
Oh, I know, but I was just so random.
Yeah, it's I was gonna the only real thing, like, it's very early, and I jokingly mention if we can make it be overreact, but you can't really overreact this early in the season. But Austin Nola,
May 1st we can overreact.
Austin Nola needs to do an insane turnaround to change the offensive output. Like, Jake Cronenworth hits the ball over 100 miles an hour. Every one of our hitters do. Nola doesn't. He just doesn't have the plate discipline, doesn't have the power, doesn't have the ability to manufacture runs. And so today against Scherzer, his greatest skill was to foul pitches off, which is a thing. I'm not saying it's not a thing, but, I don't, most of the time he doesn't do that. He pops up, he grounds out, or he strikes out. And it's just, at least Luis Campusano gets you warning track power, right? Like, at least you have a trust that maybe he can figure it out and launch the ball into the stratosphere.
That being said, does Campusano even have a hit this year?
Yeah, he does. I don't know how many, but he does have one.
Okay.
Yeah, every game Campusano started, he's won.
That
all
is
3.
true.
Hey, man, that's not nothing.
That is not nothing. It's almost nothing.
I will say I texted you this today. I really, really need to see Austin Nola pinch hit for late in the game. I can't see him. I just can't see Austin Nola up there in the 7th inning down by 2 runs. Especially
with runners on.
Right. We have 2 good hitting DHs, right? We have a fast guy named Okar. Like, we can figure it out, right? Like, you can switch people in and out to make Campusano be the catcher after that.
I agree.
And I don't know. I thought for sure that Nola was going to change his approach somehow, just be like a very line drive centric hitter, and he just isn't. He's just whatever he is, and he's not a great doesn't throw people out. I don't know. He calls a good game. I can't complain about that, but I don't know. It seems like the deadest position offensively for us, and even defensively. And doesn't make me sad, but just like, I don't know. I mean, we've already seen it. We're used to this, but like the new rules have like really upped stolen bases, which is really fun.
Yes.
But for Padres team, it's been the same because people always stole on Austin Nola.
Yeah.
So to us, this is like watching Austin Nola catch, but in every major league game. I don't hate the guy. When he comes up to bat, I just have the lowest of expectations. I just don't think it's gonna be good, and that's a bummer. It's a bummer because our lineup is so stacked. And most of those guys you believe can do real harm. And then it comes to Odor and Nola, and you're like, oh. Like today's game was just like, oh. I mean, Scherzer's game plan of Odor was like, you literally can't catch my fastball. He just threw fastballs by him.
Yeah. Today's game was one of those weird, this is baseball games. Scherzer had one hit through 5 innings against us. Mm-hmm. Hassan Kim got a hit. He walked a good half dozen Padres. Mm-hmm. He could not find the strike zone, but he was effectively wild. Mm-hmm. Yu Darvish, every conceivable metric, had a better pitching performance other than he gave up more runs.
Right.
Like, he had a more efficient outing. He struck more people out. He was calling his own game. There were 2 random bunts down the line that just rolled down.
And that's the part of the game we knew the Padres weren't going to win, because both those hits were acts of God to stay fair. They both did. So, but that's baseball.
That is baseball.
We still play 111 games so far, 151 games so far,
and
left. Yeah,
like I told you before we started, this is the longest stretch of games Padres are going to play without a day off. We're in the middle of a 18-game stretch without a day off. Our next long is going to be a 17-game stretch at the end of August. So we have a potential to rack up a lot of wins May until August. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get a big offensive boost. Mm-hmm. Musgrove's going to be back. We're going to get a good pitching boost.
I do think one thing I want to call out, and you mentioned it, alluded to it, is Ruben Niebla has done an incredible job of teaching our starters a new repertoire. So Ryan Weathers has a really good slider now. Waka and Lugo have fit right into his philosophy of just effective breaking pitches, and Steven Wilson was taught a sweeper. But most stadiums don't know what a sweeper is, and if you don't know, a sweeper is a slider with 10 inches of horizontal run. However, some stadiums are calling it the slutter.
Well, it was it was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He threw this sweeper, and it's like everybody was taught this over the offseason. A lot of pitchers came out with the sweeper. And Atlantex called it the slutter for some reason.
Yeah.
And it just became like a meme. Wilson's throwing slutters. And they've changed it to sweepers, but it's pretty funny.
Petco, when I saw him pitch, it came up as unknown. They had no idea. So I just think they've done an incredible job as offseason. And it's been fun watching Waka and Lugo pitch. It's been fun seeing Ryan Weathers be up there. I mean, Ryan Weathers still struggles a lot, but it's cool to see him. He's working his butt off, and that's cool. And I think with his slider and Moxie has, I wonder if he breaks out a bit and
He's pitching
I would
tomorrow.
love to see him break out some more. Yeah,
Again, he's pitching tomorrow. And I honestly, Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo have been unreal.
yeah,
Couple starts between the two of them. Wacha was amazing a couple days ago. Seth Lugo is awesome. And like I said, Weathers, he didn't pitch badly. He uses a little. He throws a little bit too many pitches.
yeah.
If he can get a little bit more efficient, he will be a dominant starter. It's
Yeah.
weird, and let's also not forget, we saw a walk-off home run already this year by Hassan Kim.
Yep.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love that. It's already been, this season's vibe is, I don't know what it is yet. I don't know, like, the personality of the team hasn't quite gelled, I think, or expressed itself. But in that moment, it was cool to see. Kind of what I saw in that moment was like the vision that the Padres had, which is like sustained success, and seeing Kim there was like, oh, this is a guy that's worked his butt off in the major leagues, came over here and has effectively found a family with the San Diego Padres. And it was really cool to see, not really a family, but it was just cool to see like him to have that moment, his first walk off and as a Padre, the home run. It was awesome. It was super cool.
Bogart, Soto, and Machado all dumped water on him. That was fun. Okay,
Yeah.
I am not worried. I get really irritated by Padre fans. They're like, oh, this should we be worried? Oh no, like
You have to watch. You have to be tempered because you can't. I'm not one of those Padre fans that would say, "Hey, we're winning the World Series," but I'm also not one of the Padre fans that say we're going to lose 100 games. Baseball is a cruel, cruel game. You can spend a lot of money and not win.
this is the stat they brought up a lot of times during the last couple of games in Atlanta. June 1st of last year, Atlanta was in third place, a game behind 500. They won over 100 games.
Yep.
They went on an epic hot streak and won over 100 games. Things like that can happen. We have the talent to do that.
Just stuff I really like. I mean, it's hard not to fall in love with Xander Bogaerts. Dude has come out and jammed. And for a guy that people say was a subpar defender, some of those plays he's making is so smooth. I have just so impressed with everything he's done. His approach to the plate is awesome to see. Man, it's been super fun. It's been cool to see him not really come into his own. He was already a good player.
Yeah.
But I think this is probably the first free agent position player signing, I think, in a long time where he signed and from day one was a baller. Because Manny struggled. The first baseman that would get a lot of money struggled. Will Myers, I guess, didn't struggle. Will Myers was good.
Yeah. That was 7 years ago.
But it's just been cool to see that, just to see his approach and see him just like instantly be a part of the team and gel has been really fun. It's been cool. And yeah, it's been cool. And seeing Nelson Cruz hit 6 RBIs on Sunday, dude, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
It's just awesome.
It really is awesome.
I love the ESPN broadcast, like making fun, like, what are all these big contracts for the Padres? They're all going to be late in their early 40s. What are they going to do? And then Nelson Cruz hits like 6 RBI, hits a home run, gets a double. You're like, maybe they'll end up like Nelson Cruz. Maybe he teaches them his ways.
Exactly. Right? Maybe he's 42 and he drove in 6 RBIs.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a thought. Can we just, after this year, keep him, if he wants to retire, keep him as an assistant hitting coach?
I'm not mad at it.
No, I'm not at all.
Another thing I want to mention, James, was I am interested to know what I would love to see more of the Padres is the Braves series, we started stealing more bases. I really, really want us to steal more bases. I think Kim and Grisham and Xander and Soto should all steal a lot more bases. I feel like it's just we have the speed, and there's certain someone that's going to come back to our team on April 20th who should also steal lots of bases.
Yes. That being said about stolen bases this early in the season, I can understand why they don't.
Right.
Because Bob Melvin, he really that's the one thing you have to, if you look at all of his records, especially last year with the Padres, really got to see it. He really takes his time with the season. The first month of the season, he gels the team and figures out what they want. And then he goes for it. I don't think he wants anyone to risk getting hurt. Last year, we didn't have any stolen bases for like the first month or so, and then we started getting more and more aggressive, and he started figuring out who's hot, who's not. So I'm not worried. Also, there's nothing worse than somebody going out for the season the first week of.
It's true.
O'Neal Cruz broke his ankle sliding to home base. And it's ugly. That and I don't know. He's just too tall to be a baseball player.
Judge is very tall.
He is, but maybe it's just because he just looks like he's all.
The problem is he needs to wear like more like loose fitting clothes. He's like very gangly looking.
He looks gangly. He looks like a stick. He looks very fragile. But he has the strongest arm in baseball, and he hits balls harder than anybody else in baseball. And he's also one of the fastest people in baseball. Not the best slider.
No.
He can't slide real well. As evidence, he's out for the whole season.
That's so wild. So we're going to be playing. I'm looking at the schedule now. So the first day off is the 24th?
Yep.
April 24th. Wow. So we're playing the Mets, then the Brewers, then the Braves again at home, and then the D-backs, and then we have a day off. A tough stretch.
It's a tough stretch between good teams.
Yeah.
Now, the Brewers have been less than stellar so far.
I think they've been good. I think they've been great. I don't follow them that closely. Have they not been? I think you're thinking of the Cardinals. Let me go back. Very thrilling, me pulling through it. Right now, they are losing to the Diamondbacks. But they have I feel like they were very good. They're 7-2. The Brewers are.
Oh. Maybe I am thinking about the Cardinals.
Or the Phillies. The Phillies have had a rough go.
The Phillies. Oh, my goodness. Can we have the Phillies?
They're 4-6 now.
Can we have the Phillies? That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be the Cardinals are 3-7. You're probably thinking of the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. You are correct, sir. That is who I'm thinking of.
One of those random NL Central teams. Yeah, it's a tough stretch. It's not going to be easy. A lot of people on Padres Twitter are like, we just need to be 500 until Tatis gets here.
I agree. I want to be, when Tatis shows up, 3 games above 500.
Yeah, it's hard to look at the day. So if you're not familiar, Fernando Tatis Jr. will be coming back on April 20th, coming back from serving his suspension for performance-enhancing drugs. He is currently playing AAA. He's way outperforming that league. Who'd have thought? But I don't know if I have my expectation for Tatis. I don't know if I want to lower it, but I'm just not. Like, my expectations are he has to be incredible.
Yeah, he has to come in and be a spark plug to an already effective offense.
But he just cannot be. He just can't be 70% of what he was before. And I know it's weird to say. From a baseball perspective, that's totally fine. But he has to just come back and show the world that meant nothing. That his suspension meant nothing. And he's here to ball out of control. And I think he will. I think I think the Padres going to the playoffs and just coming up short. I think it's just I don't know. I would like to think that makes him very mad or makes him like sad that he missed all of that.
I know for sure it made him sad. And
the dude's incredible in the playoffs.
Yes. But he's just a player. The higher the stakes, the better he does. And again, we have a lot of players like that now. Juan Soto's that type of player.
Yep.
Jake Cronenworth proved himself that kind of player this last offseason. Even Nola got a couple hits during the offseason. But again, and right now, Grisham is tearing it up. And if we can get... If our only question mark is the catcher position hitting, we have one less than stellar hitter out of 9.
It's a good problem to have.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, the catcher and there's the bullpen situation. I just don't. But, bullpens are always shaky. So, but yeah, I have very high hopes for this team. I think that the talent is there. And, I keep thinking to myself, it'd be so awesome to be 7-2, 8-1, or whatever, 9-2, or whatever. And I just was like, baseball's not that linear. Baseball's not that have a bunch of good players and you win a bunch of games. You'll have hard defeats and great victories. And I just know as a Padres fan, it's just I can't put myself in a place to be like. I can't put myself in a place to wish the worst upon myself or the best. So I'm just like trying to keep even keeled because I was thinking about 2021. 2021, the first half of 2021 felt like the year of destiny.
Yes.
And we all know that year. 2022, we're all like, we're talented, but is this real? And near the end, you're like, wait a second, hold up. So now I'm like, I think the talent, from a pure baseball perspective, my expectations are I think we're going to do pretty well, but it's still baseball.
Yeah, still today's game.
Right.
Made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just nothing went correct, but that's why you love baseball.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you one question.
Yep, I'm ready.
12 games in, what do you think about the new rules?
The National League is being less weird about it than the American League. The Royals are now deploying 5-person infields. That would make me pretty annoyed if I watched that all the time.
They're bringing in one of their outfielders to play the infield.
Yeah. So it's like you have a bigger infield. It's a high risk, high reward thing. I think it's fine. I think strangely people still don't know that batters and pitchers still are confused by the rules. Probably shouldn't be. Probably should have been a better job of like Max Scherzer today, like freaked out on the umpire. Hey, like I know who's Max Scherzer. I get it, but like it's like there shouldn't be ambiguity around. Oh, is it when the clock says 8 or 7 that the batter has to be set? Oh, I have to look at him. I have to make sure I'm looking him in the eye. And it's just there's too much ambiguity, and it's just there is an ambiguity, but they obviously didn't convey it well enough. I think Mark Letta tweeted this, and I thought it was a really good idea. He said that the batters get one timeout. If you're not in the box by the first 8 seconds, that's an automatic timeout, and you just lose your timeout.
I'm okay with that.
Right, just like because obviously there's batters that just are not getting there, and it's like it penalizes them because then they have to be locked in.
Yeah,
they have to be locked in. But then you also don't get a Tim Anderson, Manny Machado thing, which is just like, what do you mean I'm not? What do you mean I'm just like? I thought it was this second or this second, and I that's the only thing. I feel like that can be smoothed over a bit. I like the stolen bases are super fun. I don't like facing the Diamondbacks when they have that bigger base because those people are fast. All of them are fast. All of them are stupid fast. But I like that. The no shift thing, I think it's, you forget that for nearly 100 plus years, more than 100 plus years, there was no shift, and people still threw no hitters in perfect games. So it's not like I think people expected like this, like, oh my gosh, this onslaught of hits. No, it's not. It's not really. It's just
Well, Joey Votto, famously, all he does is pull pitches. They calculated he would have gotten 11 more hits.
Right. Which is not nothing in a game moment, but like, it's still like not. It's not like not having people are expected to, but if you're a lefty, the effective would be like if there was no people on the right hand side, and
But also, you're gonna see pitchers throw more soft stuff away.
Yep.
To hit the ball. So the pitchers knew you had 4 infielders over there.
Right.
Throw them hard stuff in so they can pull it.
Yep.
Soft stuff away. So they have to. That's how you pitched back in the day.
Yep. I'm a fan overall. I just think the timing thing, obviously, a lot of players aren't understanding it, and that's on Major League Baseball to figure out. So, what about you?
I mean, the timing thing, again, I agree. They need to figure it out. Our players just need to figure it out. I like that. I think more pitchers need to be doing it. Yu Darvish today, he had a little button, a little pat on his belt, and he was calling every pitch, and that was awesome to see.
Wait, Jay, I need to stop you. So you're telling me the catcher wasn't calling the pitches? So a pitcher was? So what if you're a good game calling catcher, for example? I don't know. I don't know. Just throwing it out here. What value do you bring if the pitcher calls the game all the time?
Who are we going to get?
Sorry, I cut you off.
We're going to bring Webber Weavers back up? I mean, come on.
I don't know.
He did hit 2 home runs in the majors when he was up that one time.
Yeah.
I think that was cool. Stolen bases are always fun. The one rule that is kind of I don't know about is the 2 disengagements from a pitcher.
Yeah.
It just but nothing's more irritating when a pitcher throws 1,000 pitches.
That is the most irritating thing in the world. And it's very obvious, like especially when it's like, oh, someone's warming up, and you throw 5 pitches over there, and then you get pulled, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. That's very, very irritating. But still, I don't know. I have no complaints. The game, I thought for sure having faster games would lessen the excitement of baseball. I went to the game that was 2 hours and 3 minutes long. Sitting there, it didn't feel like it was less, but it was also a good game. So it's hard to say. Maybe the broadcasters can't tell as many funny stories,
Right.
because they don't have an hour an inning. But yeah, I don't. The one problem I thought I was going to have the most with, other than I think you should just be able to put your defenders wherever you want. That's up to.
Yeah. Long-time listener of the podcast know that you are very pro shift.
Well, it's not pro shift. It's I grew up. My favorite player, one of my childhood idols, was Tony Gwynn. That man, you couldn't shift him.
No.
You could put the ball anywhere. And I grew and case in point, you know who they also shift a ton of? Barry Bonds.
Right.
And he could also occasionally hit to the opposite field.
Yeah.
So no, the good hitters, I thought it incentivized bad hitters, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I like I said, if I start seeing shenanigans again, I'm going to get pretty annoyed. Because then it's going to be another rule. It's going to be another rule. And then...
You knew they were going to do it. You knew one team was going to bring in an outfielder to be an infielder. You knew I'm surprised it wasn't the Rays.
Yeah.
It was the Royals, which they're a weird team, but who knows? Yeah. Hey, you know what? They might get a new first baseman next year. because the Cubbies might dump their first baseman at the end of this month.
Yeah. The Cubs have this. This is not. It's not a bit. This is a real thing. I know lots of our discussions around this first baseman that used to play for the Padres are bit driven, but this is a real thing. The Cubs have a like a first baseman prospect has 44 home runs in like 160 games, and they're just like service time manipulating him until this time. And it's just like, yeah, that guy's days are numbered. Just, I feel like it's weird having our identity be around a guy who's not on our team anymore. But
this is the way I look at it.
But he's caused me so much pain and suffering. Like I have to go to therapy over the stuff he's done to me.
This is. I saw somebody talk about it.
Yeah.
The year he's officially off the books is the year we have to sign Soto.
Oh my goodness. That's funny. Well, James, more baseball. Very exciting. It's going to be a tough stretch of games, but I'm excited. I'm excited watching baseball again. It's been, I say, the biggest fun of these new rules is, and I think I mentioned it before on the podcast, the TV games are a lot more fun. They're a lot more enjoyable, a lot more engaging, and that's cool. It reminds me of the baseball you and I watched when we were kids.
Yeah,
and this is what it's trying to be. Like it's just, lots of hit and runs, lots of stolen bases.
And that's not to say there weren't pitchers that took their sweet time back in the day.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to fall asleep, find a Hideo Nomo start and watch a replay of Hideo Nomo. That guy took forever in between pitches.
Yep. But should be fun, James. Yeah, should be fun. So you're thinking you want to be 3 games above 500 when Tatis gets back?
Yes.
It's going to be a tall order, but I'm going to say 1 game over 500. And then I predict Tatis to hit at least 2 home runs on his first game back. He loves hitting it in Arizona, man.
Well, he just loves hitting.
The boos are going to feed him. People don't understand. I think the boos are going to do the opposite what you want them to do.
Yeah. Because he knows, again, he definitely knows he screwed up.
Yeah.
And you have to, I mean, yeah, we're all disappointed, but you have to admire somebody that takes personal responsibility. That's not a common thing in today's society.
No. I think he's the kind of psycho, so I don't know if I've ever shared this on the podcast, but my opinion is if you're a professional athlete, you're kind of a psycho because you kind of have to push through years of drudgery, and then you have to put yourself in an extreme competitive mindset all the time. It's a little psychotic.
Yes.
And then you fall from grace, and then you turn that fall from grace that's right, that's right. He psyched himself up for this moment back to where he was before. So it's very entertaining.
It's going to be very entertaining. Very, very entertaining.
Until next time, James, go Padres.
Go Padres.
And there it is! Oh, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!